Hey folks, what is up and welcome back to the new video. So guys, in this video we are going to talk about my top 5 mistakes which I have done doing cold calling from India, and which you can avoid to save your money and save your time and make a lot of good appointments for your marketing agency. Now these are the mistakes which I have gone through personally, so it can be different from person to person. I think if you can just be heads up cautious about the steps, you can spend your time doing the right thing and not worrying about something which will actually drain your money. So the first mistake which I did, and I absolutely fucking regret it, which was not tracking my KPIs. My key performance indicators, I was not tracking it because out of the fresh, I was doing cold DM myself, had some softwares to do cold DM for myself, and then I had somebody to call the leads for me. Right, in that case I was so much excited to see the appointments coming in. Right, I was just kind of sleeping out, I was in the gym, I was probably out with my friends, and I was seeing my calendar getting filled up with appointments every single day. I was so fucking happy that I actually didn't track any single thing. I mean, what was the call ratio, how much we're converting right now, the KPIs which is required for me, I didn't had that. And once I had a bigger team of like 8 people to call the leads for myself, I had no data to back it up, right? So it was like things falling like dominoes. So you have to make sure that whatever you do right now, even in the smallest way possible, you should track it, because the same action will reflect when you have a bigger team, right? So it's not like right now you're doing everything in a messy way, or you are not actually tracking anything right now, and once you have a bigger team you will be all of the way like very much organized. No, it will be happening at a bigger level. So make sure whatever you do right now, the smallest level, like I don't care how many DMs you do right now, track your appointments, track your KPIs, track how many outreach you've done, track what's the response rate is, track your open rates, track your reply rates, right? And that's the only way you're gonna scale it in a much more sustainable way once you have a bigger team. So yeah, first thing was not tracking. Second, managing people, right? If you have been working just right now by yourself as a freelancer, and not as the agency way, like actual business right now, you can do things pretty off and on as well, and there's nobody to actually manage yourself or like do things as you want. But when you have a bigger team, not a bigger team, even like a smaller team, suppose like 7 people or 8 people or 9 people right in place, things can get a bit messier. I am not very that guy who can manage people, right? So first of all, I have to understand, okay, Vivek, you are not that person who can manage team, so you gotta need a manager who can manage a team, right? And the manager can report back to me, right? So when I had a bigger team, for me it was big for sure, because the first time I had people of 9 people working for me, right? So it was messy for me, like messier. Like I had like 2 people who was doing good job, and I thought, what, I was get it right now, and it got messier, like things fall apart, right? So first 3-4 months it was good, I had like 3 people, then we had 4 people, and then suddenly from like 4 people I had now 9 people calling the leads, like doing cold calling, and it was absolutely mess for me to manage the team, and things break off pretty fast, because first of all I was not managing properly, and second, the way I have actually spread out my salaries, which was in commission plus and also the salary, it was a lot of outbound cash flowing before even we have the closing coming in. So that was something which was pretty much messier for me as we go right now. Third, not following up, right? So my Goha level was actually filled up with prospect replying back to my DMs or replying back to the message right now, and I was so much busy with my inbound leads, like inbound appointments, inbound calls and appointments we had. I had literally no time to organize my inbound messages from my Goha level, like text and emails and Facebook. So it was a lot of things which were happening at the same time. So I realized very soon that I need to have somebody in the place whose job is mainly just to reply to my Goha level messages and make sure the Slack is clear, right? Every single day I need to make sure my Slack is clear on my Goha level, so there's no pending work, because things kind of overlap, if you don't really manage your last day work. So this was one of the biggest thing again which comes in place, and I have to figure out after 3-4 months, which took me a lot of time to solve out, because I was so much busier with my agency, like to do the sales call, and actually I burn myself out. Fourth, the fourth biggest thing, which was not hiring a sales rep when I was overburnt. So see, personally myself, I can take suppose 5 calls a day, 5 meetings a day, and I can do that every single day for the next 7 days, right? Or even 7 days or 6 days right now as well. But I cannot take 10 to 12 calls at the same time. I can't put my same efforts, right? I have seen that way. So I need to understand basically, Vivek, what you can be good in sales, right? But you need to make sure you're actually hiring people who can be a sales closure for you. So I have to hire somebody in between as well for my agency, who was like a I would say a step in between my sales call. So I have my cold callers, and then I had that guy from Mexico, which I had, and he was doing all discovery calls, and then I had myself, who was taking the sales call. So this guy, the sales closer I had right now, who's taking discovery call, his main job was to filter the leads out, and this has helped me a lot, to not go through the crappy leads and not go through the leads who are broke as fuck. And I was taking the filter rate lead outs, and my closing was much higher. Because see, if I was getting appointments myself, they were very good appointments for sure, and I was having a higher closing ratio. But from cold calling, the first thing was I was not able to close deals, and which were actually making me think about my skills in the sales. And the first thing was the quality of lead was not great. So I have to put somebody in between, first of all, to track my team, to make sure they are doing good work, and second, have somebody in place to take discovery calls for me myself right now, and of course get me some good leads. The last and the main thing, which was the show up ratio, right? Last video मैंने बताया इसमें how I improve my show up ratio, but show up ratio was one of my biggest roadblock, which I was having for 2-3 months straight up, and I was not able to solve that out, right? Because same time I was having a team which was managing, and second again I had a bigger problems to solve right now, so I was not really focusing on my show up ratio, and this becomes a very huge burden, because people were not showing up in the call, and I was burning my money to the team of having 9 people, paying them an hourly wage. So I was constantly burning out money every single week, and I had no results coming in the front end. So this made me burn way more money than what I had made in. Of course, I was doing 4x to 5x ROI back with my team, but after a point, I was losing money more. So which made me think about, should I even have that team in the first place? And then I have to go back again in my, in my sketch room, in my drawing room, whatever you can call it, and break the whole thing out and make a solid plan on how I will be scaling this thing with my team. And now once I have a plan right now, I can sustainably scale more and make good ROI back with my agency, which I was doing, by having 9 people. So it's not about having a huge ass team, but it's about, having systems in place for every department where you can track things. Because if that's not the case, you will burn out very quickly, and you will hate what you're doing right now. So first of all, understand what your strengths are, what your weakness are, and then make a plan according to that, and accept it whatever your strengths and weaknesses are, right? So yeah, that was my story of my cold calling mistakes that I've done, and I hope this video would be helpful for you once you have your bigger team, or even if you have a team right now of small people, like suppose 3 or 4 people right now in place. This can definitely be helpful for you to save money, and of course get more ROI back. I hope you guys this video was helpful, and I'll see you next one. Till then, keep crushing it and keep working.